You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of ABK Media Group, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County every day at 9 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney. So glad to be here with you this morning. This is the 11 o'clock episode because I had to go out and network this morning at 7:30. That's a lot. That's real early. I know that's real early for a lot of people. Some people are just rolling over at 7:30. Here I was out this morning networking. Listen, you got to get it done. You got to make it happen. You're trying to make big things happen in 2019. You got to get up and get going. You got to get the hustle on, get your grind on early in the morning, late at night sometimes, on Saturdays sometimes, on Sundays sometimes. You got to make it happen. But listen, glad to be here with you this morning. I'm going to go ahead on over and talk about my People Helping People segment of the day. Something that I love doing because, there are a lot of great people out there doing some great things, and there are a lot of people that need a lot of help. Unfortunately, for some, waking up this morning was not a happy thing. And, for us who woke up this morning and have so much but take it for granted, there are some people out there who are just not, where they want to be in life. The organization that I'm going to talk about today is one that's really cool because, it helps young women, young girls, 11 to 18, get their lives on track or get back, learn how to be empowered and learn how to have self-confidence. And with so much bullying going on and so many stereotypes we see on TV, sometimes it can shake your confidence. Hell, it'll shake your confidence as a grown woman sometimes, some of the stuff you see out there. I saw something recently. I forgot the woman's name. She's an actress, and I think she and Jessica Simpson were at an award event, and Jessica Simpson is pregnant. And, you put on weight when you get pregnant. You put on weight when you don't get pregnant, but she's pregnant, and she put on some weight. And I think the woman said something about her weight. And I'm saying to myself, but she's pregnant. You know what I mean? So, and Jessica Simpson came back and said something, that was really classy or whatever. But I think that sucks, And so just imagine, now, these are grown women. Just imagine if you're like a 13-year-old and you have, confidence issues and self-esteem issues. And Precious Meat Inc., that's what they do. They help these young girls and young ladies, build their self-confidence and self-esteem, and so they can be able to cope with everyday situations in life, because you need that. And here's the thing. A lot of us didn't have an organization out there when we were younger. I remember when I was a young girl, my brother used to go to the boys club, Boys and Girls Club. But for me, it was like, well, why would I go to the Boys and Girls Club? They shoot pool. Because that's what he did. He played football and he shot pool. I didn't see anything there really for me to do except for play. So while he was at the Boys and Girls Club, I was pretty much at home reading a book or something. So because there was no real organization for me out there to help me deal with whatever I dealt with, And I've been a plus size girl my whole life, I'm prayerful. I lost a little bit over 90 something pounds over this last year. With a lot of work and hard work and some great tools to help me do that. But coming up, I was a big girl my whole life. I'm talking about my whole entire life, like from the day I can remember. I think my mother said I started gaining weight when I was about 3 or 4 years old. And so I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anybody, I didn't have someone to say, Audrey, you good the way you are. I think my makeup, though, was that because of that, instead of having people bully me, I was going to be tough. So I didn't really deal with bullies because I was a tough one. So, I didn't deal with people calling me names and things like that because I was a tough one. So I was the one that was tough. I was the one that would fight in school. I was the one that would punch you in school if you said something that I ain't like. I was that girl. And so but I wasn't a bully, but I didn't take any junk. So if you said something to me, we're going to have a fight. That's how it was. I didn't have a mentor. So Precious Meat Inc., they help these young ladies in leadership, and they help them, find careers and, navigate the waters of being young women in today's society when so much of what you see on television is what people think that they love, and so it's a lot. I was in a meeting with a really super successful businessman about a couple months ago, and we were talking about producing a television show. And he said to me, he said, there are not a lot of African-American shows out there about cooking. And I said, I know, and I was excited because I'm like, okay, we're going to produce a TV show about cooking. And he had the capital to do it. He had the wherewithal to make it happen. But he said to me, he said a couple things that I was like, yeah, I can't produce that show. He said, the person that hosts the show, she has to be skinny and light skinned. Now, I felt some kind of way personally, and maybe I shouldn't have because it was business, but my whole life I'm dark skinned and I'm chubby. So when I'm sitting here across the table from these two gentlemen who are not African American, who don't understand how light skin and dark skin and brown skin, all the things that we went through, he doesn't understand that. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, that's not good. We need to change that. And he said to me, Audrey, we can't change that. And I'm like, yeah, but we can. We can change that by producing shows that don't show the stereotypical black woman, light skinned and thin. Because here's the thing. We come in all shades, so just think about that for a second. I'm sitting across the table from a multimillionaire who wants to produce a show, and most people would have jumped at the chance, and I went home and I was like, yeah, I can't do that show, and I spoke to one of my friends who's an attorney, and she's like, you should have just did it, and I was like, I couldn't. In good conscience, I could not, and I know maybe that's bad business for some people, but for me, it was hard. It was heartbreaking because he didn't see that he could put money behind a show for black folk with a black host, a cooking show, if that person was not light skinned and thin. And I felt really like, yeah, I can't do it. I'm just going to do what I love doing. And so would that have been great for my company? Yeah, it would have been great. It would have been great but I know the type of things that we go through in our society as women, but especially as African-American women. We go through all the different, discriminations against us. If you're dark-skinned, if you got natural hair, if you got short hair, if you got no hair, but then some people get it if they're light-skinned. If you're too light-skinned, you're not dark enough, things, we go through all that stuff. And I just didn't want to produce a show that perpetuated more of that, we could have met in the middle somewhere, you know what I mean? Hey, let's let him be a size 12, which is still small to me, but not to him. He was like a 3. You know what I mean? So I thought that sucked, and I probably messed up the relationship. I hope I didn't. I hope when I see him again, we're still cool and maybe we can do something in the future. But I just could not get behind that show. And even though it may have made sense to him, he just don't understand our plight. And so, and I think he thought he did, but he doesn't. And I didn't want to come off in the meeting as an angry black woman like everybody think we are, angry black women. We're not. We're misunderstood black women is what we are. And I don't mean to go on a rant, but that just made me think about it. We're misunderstood black women because we are very caring and nurturing. Deep down, most of us are. And, society has painted a picture of us that is not true. So, that's why I like Precious Me Inc. because it helped these young girls create a life for themselves so they can stand out in the world and be successful. And that's important, They touch on things like STEM and STEAM. And for those of you who don't know what STEAM and STEM is, STEM stands for, you probably heard of STEM before. It stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And now here's the funny thing. I was really good in high school in science and math. I mean, really, really good. And nobody told me I could be an engineer. There was nobody who told me that. So I went to college to be an accountant, and I hated every second of it. They kicked me out because I hated it. There was nobody there to say, hey, Audrey, you're really smart and you're really good in math and science. Hey, you could be an engineer. There was nobody there to say that to me. And I think back, and I probably would have been a great engineer because I'm a great problem solver. I'm a great thinker. And I'm not saying that to blow my own horn, but I am. And I've come to realize, I'm a great solution finder, and I probably would have been a great engineer. But right now, do I want to go back to be an engineer? No, because I love being an entrepreneur. And so nobody was there to tell me that. Precious Me Inc. is here to tell these young ladies, hey, there's a place for you in science and technology and engineering and mathematics. And so recently they've come up with STEAM, STEAM, because that's another thing that, a lot of people don't support as much as they should, because a lot of parents don't see that there is a career in the arts. So STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And so when we think about arts, we think about ballet and we think about dancing and acting. Those are the arts, and really painting and music, and those are the arts. And a lot of people, they didn't believe that there was a career in the arts. Well, I tell you, I beg to differ. Look at all the rappers and the singers out there right now. Here's the thing about that. Those people who have entered into the arts because, that was just their way of expressing themselves are hugely successful right now. I'm talking about hugely. I'm talking about clothing lines, shoe lines, perfume lines, lipstick lines. I see some of everything coming out, sunglasses, anything you could think of because of the art. Because they had a message, and there was a message in their music. There was a message in their dancing. So Precious Me Inc. is a great organization, and I ask that you go over and support them so that they continue to do their work. I tell you, every day I'm trying to do these podcasts and these braces. I can't wait to get them off. But it makes me tie-tongue. So if you hear me stammering, it's because my braces are in the way. And I still have not gotten used to talking to them, especially when I try to talk fast. Not that I try to talk fast, I naturally talk fast. So I'm literally slowing down so that I can talk so that you can understand me. But anyway, this is a great organization. It's located here in Lawrenceville in Gwinnett County, and it also serves young women in DeKalb County. So listen, go on over there and support preciousmeinc.org. They're doing some great things over there. Miss Bianca L. Singleton, she is the director there. She puts a lot of passion to what she's doing. She's affectionately known as Miss B. And she's there helping those young women. She got great mentors on board with her. I'm looking to reach out to her and see if there's anything that I can do. I worked with a nonprofit a few years ago in New Jersey called My Sister's Keeper. And that was a great organization which was ran by Kawan Finch, who has now relocated to Columbia, South Carolina, and has another nonprofit there. But when we were in Jersey, one of the things that I did was I helped the young ladies write books, because I write books, amongst some other things that I do, and they all had a story to tell. And the program was for two sets of people. It was for young girls, and it was for women who were on welfare, who were trying to get back on track. So I was able to serve them in a way that I knew how, from my strengths, from my weaknesses, and from my experiences. And so I could talk to them because I grew up in Newark. I knew what it was like to grow up in a single parent home. My mom took care of my brother and I. I knew what it was like to be on welfare because we were on welfare. I knew what it was like to get in the cheese line, which I actually hated every second of it. So I was able to serve that demographic because I had been there and I had done that. I had lived through that. So these organizations are really important, and that's why I talk about them at the top of my show, because I know sometimes people have a lot to do and they don't have time to listen to the entire show, and so they'll stop midstream and cut it off and say I'll come back later. And I know this because I do it. And they'll come back later, but then they forget, especially if they like podcasts like me. And I start listening to one, and then I kind of scroll through and see what this other podcast is doing, and I forget where I was in the last one I was listening to. So that's why I talk about, these type of organizations at the top of my show, because I really, really want to support them in any way I can. And I know one of the ways to support any organization, any business, is to shine a spotlight on them. That's why I also talk to entrepreneurs about what they're doing, and I've made it my business in this podcast to spotlight entrepreneurs who are in Gwinnett County. I have another show called Talk Business with Audrey, and I spotlight entrepreneurs around the world. And I've been in media for a long time. Well, 15 years. It may not be so long, but 15 years I've been in media, on radio and podcasting and print magazines and newspapers. So, I know my way around media a little bit, and digital distribution has opened up the world to a lot of us. So, I want to use my platform as a way to empower, a way to encourage, a way to enlighten, a way to uplift, and a way to educate. So, if you go to Talk Business with Audrey, you may hear me talking about business and just be me talking just like I'm talking right now. But if you may hear an interview from somebody. I interviewed the young lady who runs Invest Atlanta. That was a great interview. It's one of my top interviews on Talk Business with Audrey because people want to know how to do business with Atlanta. Atlanta is hot. It's popping. And so everybody wants to know, how can I get a piece of Atlanta right now? We want Gwinnett to be the same way. We want people to know, we want to come here and do business in Gwinnett and want to know, how do I get a piece of Gwinnett right now? And so that's one of the goals. I want to make sure that I shine the spotlight on Gwinnett in a positive way so that people can see all of the great things we have to offer. When I moved here, I didn't move here intentionally to say, hey, I'm going to move to Gwinnett, because I didn't know anything about Gwinnett. My husband was up for a job, which was in Athens, and I didn't want to live in Athens because I felt like that was too far away from Atlanta. So we wanted to be in the middle, which put us in Gwinnett County. The crazy thing is, my husband did not get that job. He got a job in Cobb County, which is very far from where we are out here in Lawrenceville, and that's a hike every morning and every evening. But that's how we landed in Gwinnett County, and I love being in Gwinnett County, and I talk about it all the time. My brother came to visit, and he came out and he fell in love with Gwinnett County. So now he's buying a house in Loganville. My daughter's aunt came to visit for the baby shower in October. She loves it here in Gwinnett County. Now she's moving here in June. She'll be here next week for Christmas, and she's moving back in June. So people love it when they come here because it's beautiful. It's great living. We have a great school system. And I want to be able to bring that to people who are listening around the world. Like, if you're thinking about moving to Georgia, take a look at Gwinnett County, because we got a lot to offer. We got beautiful schools. These are the most beautiful parks I've ever seen in my life, public parks. When I came here, I'm like, oh my God, these parks are gorgeous, because they put a lot of money into the park systems, the park and recreational systems. And so, I had never seen such beautiful parks. Public parks, private parks, yeah, but not public parks. But there's a lot of money that goes into public parks here. And I was amazed at the type of swimming pools and things like that. So when my brother came, and where he's buying his house, they have a public park, and he was like, man, that's a nice park. I said, all of the parks in Gwinnett are like that, So we have a lot to offer here, and I want to be able to use this show and this platform to shine the spotlight on the amazing people here, and on the amazing places here. And just the way we live here, our way of living here. So, that's why I feel like it's going to be a great show. Now, I have a huge challenge. I was supposed to have a guest, but I guess she got tied up. I understand when you're a businesswoman, things come up and things happen. So maybe she'll come back on a future show. But listen, I have a really, really big goal for 2019. And my goal is to get 1 million subscribers to listen to our show. So I'm going to need your help. So I'm going to start doing hashtag Good Morning Gwinnett. And I need you to share that hashtag with everybody you know, because I have a very lofty goal. If I can take a local show and push it to 1 million subscribers, we will make history. If I can take a local show focused on one county in the state of Georgia, and we get that to 1 million subscribers, we're going to make podcasting history. So I need you to help me make history for Good Morning Gwinnett by sharing the show with your friends, with everybody that you know. We're going to be having mobile apps coming soon. That's one of the things I'm excited about. So if you got an iPhone or if you got an Android phone, you'll be able to go and download the app and share the link with your family and friends around the world. Even though the show is focused on people and places right here in Gwinnett, it's a show for anybody around the world, because we talk to entrepreneurs. We're talking to people who are in the government. On Monday, we're going to be talking to Miss Sarah Hetty. She is at the Chamber of Commerce here, the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce. They do a lot of things for businesses here. I became a member, and I'm so happy I did. They do over 300 events a year. So you can get out there and share your story, share your products, share your service, with people in the community, and get to know people. Because let me tell you something. Being an entrepreneur is sometimes very lonely, because if you're home and no one in your home is an entrepreneur, they really don't understand what you're talking about and what you're going through. So it's really important for you to get out from behind the desk, get out from behind the computer, and go out and do some networking and be with people who understand what you're going through. They understand your plight. They understand your mission. You know what I mean? Because it's sometimes it's very lonely. You know, if your spouse or your children have their own lives and they really don't understand exactly what it is you do, and they're not involved with your business, it's kind of like you don't have anybody to talk to. That's where these different organizations, business organizations and associations come in very handy, because you get to go out and you get to get out the house or get out the office, get out the co-working space, get out the car, get out of Starbucks, leave Panera Bread, and go out and talk to somebody, mingle with people and share stories. We had a great networking session this morning. It was like we had to talk about what was a line in a movie that changed your perspective, or what was a line that maybe your parents or someone said to you to change your perspective. Now, the first thing that popped in my mind, and because the lady said a book, the first book that popped in my mind was Think and Grow Rich. That was the first book that popped in my mind, because that book had a profound, it profoundly changed the way I thought about a lot of things, and I've read it over and over, and it's so funny because if you've never read the book, read the book. It's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And maybe that'll be my book. Well, no, that's kind of like cheating. But if you've never read Think and Grow Rich, read Think and Grow Rich, because at the beginning of the book, he said there's a secret in the book, right? And so because we want everything easy, I read the book and I'm looking for the secret. And so I'm like, well, where's the secret? I had to read the book again. If there's a secret in the book to tell you how to be successful, and you might get, when you find the secret, you'll know you found it. And I read the book again. I'm like, where's the secret? So by the third time I read the secret, I'm not going to tell you what the secret is. I'm going to let you figure it out like I had to figure it out. So read the book, Think and Grow Rich. If you're a business owner, or you're trying to make things happen in your life, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is a great book. I found the secret on the third time I read the book, because it's the funniest thing. Like, just read the book and go to goodmorninggwinnett.com after you've read the book and leave a comment and let me know if you found the secret. I'm not talking about The Secret, the movie. I'm talking about the secret in the book, because it was hilarious. Once I realized what the secret was, I'm like, oh, it was right in front of me the whole time. It was crazy, but it was the way I was thinking. And so, you know, you want to get out, you want to network, you want to meet people, you want to read good books, you want to listen to great podcasts, and you want to tell people what you do and share it. Every time I say I do a podcast, someone always come up to me and say, oh my God, that's great. You know, and as you can see, I've been talking for 22 minutes, and I do podcasts because, one, I like to share information. Two, I love to tell stories. And three, I love to run my mouth, and I love empowering people. So I'm going to stop talking now because I need to get some water. Unfortunately, my guest did not come on this morning, and so maybe she ran into some, something that stopped her. But we'll be back again Monday with Sarah Hetty from the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce, and she's going to talk about all of the amazing programs that they have going on there, and how you can get involved with the chamber if you want to. And I'm telling you, they have a lot of stuff. So listen, thanks for listening. Help Good Morning Gwinnett get to a million subscribers. Go over to goodmorninggwinnett.com. Share a link with family and friends on your social media platforms all over the place. So this way we can get more people to find out what we're doing here in Gwinnett, and all of the amazing people that we have here in Gwinnett. So listen, until Monday, because Friday is set aside for me to work on all my marketing strategies to get this show to 1 million subscribers. So I have decided to dedicate Fridays to working on marketing to get the show to 1 million subscribers. So I will be blogging every Friday about what I'm doing, because I'm one of those people who like to think outside of the box. And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to end. But Richard Branson is one of my favorite PR moguls. I know he's a mogul in his own right for all of the things he's done. But if you don't know who Richard Branson is, check him out. He thinks outside of the box. He knows how to get publicity. He knows how to market. He is a marketing master. And so I love that. And I'm going to share a quick story with you. When I launched my first company some years ago, I had read a book by Terry Williams. She's a publicist. At the time, she was a publicist. She's not a publicist right now, but she was a publicist for like Janet Jackson and Eddie Murphy and some other big name brand stars. And she wrote a book called The Personal Touch, and she talked about how you wanted to want to get your information out there. So what happened was, I read the book, and one of the stories in the book said, make yourself unforgettable. And so what I did was, it was Valentine's Day, and I went to the dollar store. I got cards, and I put candy in the cards. And I sent the cards out to all of the news media people that I wanted to interview. And so that gave me the opportunity to get in front of editors. And once I did that, I was in Heart and Soul magazine. I got written up in, it was another magazine. I think it was called Legacy or something like that. So I was in all of those magazines, and that one little tip that she gave me so much press. So you got to think outside of the box. So it was Valentine's Day, so people thought they was getting candy from a lover. It was really a press release and a lollipop from me. And so that's what happened. So thinking outside of the box. So Fridays is going to be donated just to marketing and growing this show to 1 million subscribers. So listen, I'm about to end the show right now. But thanks again for listening. Please share with all your friends. And I'll be back again on Monday, prayerfully. And until next time, have a great weekend and make it a great day.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in daily at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you miss an episode, go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to catch up. If you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the show now and share it with your friends.